Today I'm coming to you guys from the Dinwiddie Courthouse, and you probably won't recognize this Dinwiddie Courthouse because it is the historic Dinwiddie Courthouse, which is no longer used. It is part of the Parks and Recreation Department, but it's not used rooms and things anymore. That is across the street at the new courthouse. Now, this courthouse was built in 1851 and it closed its doors in 1998. In fact, I have not been in this courthouse since probably my first arrest. No, it wasn't my arrest. I've never been arrested. It must have been when maybe I was smoking my tires on the pavement and maybe got a traffic ticket. No, I don't think that was it either. It was something though. Something to do with traffic. Oh, I know what it was. It was I had to appear here to actually get my license. So when I was 16 years old, I think probably the last time I was in this courthouse, and I had to attend to get my official driver's license. If you guys have any interest or questions about the courthouse, the historic courthouse, and the grounds here, the courtyard area, I'm sure that Miss Moore, Mr. Spires, or Miss Allen would love to hear from you. Just email them any questions you have about it, and they can probably give you a little more history and things about the courthouse than I can. The historic courthouse behind me is not even the reason that we're here today. The reason that we're here today is the monument. So let's go take a closer look. Okay, this is the real reason that we're here today, is this monument. I'm not quite sure who this is, but it could be Mr. Moss for all I know. Let's go take a closer look. Okay, this is definitely not Mr. Moss. In fact, I don't think this is any one person in particular. It is representing a multitude of soldiers and their sacrifices. What we're going to do here today, I'm going to show you guys what we call indirect measurement, and we're going to use what we call shadow casting in order to determine the height of a monument without actually measuring the height of the monument. We're going to use three other measurements that we know and can figure out much easier than we could actually measuring the height of the statue. There's a proportional relationship represented here by the monument and its shadow, and me and my shadow. Now, I say proportion because there are two ratios represented here. The first ratio is represented from the height of the monument and the length of its shadow, and the second ratio is represented by my height and the length of my shadow. Here, I am measuring the length of the shadow of the monument. Miranda is measuring the length of my shadow. After taking our measurements, we were able to determine that the shadow of the monument was 31 feet long. My shadow was 8.4 feet long. I am 6 feet tall. The monument at this time has an undetermined height. What this shows is the ratio for the monument, which is x over 31. X represents the unknown height. 31 represents the length of the shadow of the monument. Mr. K's ratio is 6 over 8.4. This shows that his height is 6 feet tall. The length of his shadow was 8.4 feet. I set these two ratios equal to each other and then cross-multiplied 31 times 6 to get 186. Then I divided that product by the only remaining number 8.4 to get 22.14. So the height of the monument is approximately 22 feet. When using indirect measurement or shadow casting, you must determine three measurements that you can easily obtain. Next, you will create a ratio for each object. However, one of the objects will have a ratio with a variable for the missing measure. Set the ratios into a proportion, cross-multiply, and then divide
to find the missing measurement.
Okay guys, I'm going to close here with a joke. This comes to us from Miss Parton. What lights up a soccer stadium? A soccer match.